we're focusing on slope-intercept. We talked about slope-intercept last week. So slope-intercept form of the equation is what? What does slope-intercept look like? Y equals mx plus b. So the next 4 problems are all going to use y equals mx plus b. So on number 1, we have a point. Anytime we have a point, it's an x and a y. So this is an x, this is a y. The slope is always the m. So this is an m. So when I'm looking at y equals mx plus b, what variable do I not have? What variable did I not give you? The b. You're missing a b. So that's what we're going to do first is solve for the b, which is the y-intercept. So we're going to plug this stuff in. Y, which was 3, equals m, 4/3, times x, which is 3. If the slope is a fraction, and a lot of times it is, a lot of times I'll put the x as a fraction. It just makes it a little bit easier to multiply. So I'm going to put it as 3/1 plus b. So I plugged in the y, the m, the x, and I'm going to figure out what the b is. So I go ahead and do this multiplication. 4 times 3 is 12. 3 times 1 is 3. So 12 divided by 3 is 4. So 3 equals 4 plus b. I still want to get the b by itself because that's what I don't know. So I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. 3 take away 4 is -1 equals b. Now, I'm not quite done because it says write the slope-intercept form of the equation. So now I know a b. I had already given you a slope. So my final answer then is my equation, y equals slope, which was 4/3, x, I found the b was -1, so -1. That's my final answer, is the equation. So I have a point, I have a slope. I'm plugging that into my equation to figure out b. Once I know what b is, I can write my general slope-intercept form of the equation. So we'll see a couple people writing number 1. Then we'll take a look at number 2. So number 2. Again, I've got a point. So this point is xy. I have a slope. Slope is always m. I'm going to plug everything into y equals mx plus b. So y, which is 5, equals m, which was the slope, times x. Again, it's a fraction here, so I'm going to write this as a fraction. Like I said, it just makes it a little bit easier, I think. So -5/1. I don't know the b. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Now I can go ahead and multiply. -1 times -5 is a +5 over 5. So 5 over 5 reduces down to 1. So 5 equals 4 plus b. Subtract the 4 from both sides. 1 equals b. Now, like I said, I'm not quite done because my final answer says write the slope-intercept form of the equation. So now I can write y equals mx plus b, where I have the slope and I have the intercept. So y equals -1/5 x plus 1. That's my final answer. And 1 second. Oh, we're going to back up for a second. You may see what I did wrong because I actually got ahead of myself. Does somebody find my mistake? Because I've made a mistake.
5/1.
Yes, it is. I was thinking ahead of myself. So we're going to fix this for a second. I apologize because I got ahead of myself. When I multiply this, I got 5/5, which is 1. Then when I subtract 1, I'm going to end up getting 4. And I put 4 there because I knew it was going to be a 4. So 5/5, like I said, I need to fix this. This is going to give me 1. Subtract 1, that's where the 4 came from. So therefore, it should have been a plus 4 back here. I apologize about that. That was my oops. I was thinking too far ahead. So when I multiply this, 5/5, 5/5 reduces down to 1. I have to subtract 1 from both sides to get 4. So B equals 4, plug the 4 into the equation. Are we okay there?
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at number 3. X, Y, M. So Y equals M. Now that's just an integer, it's a whole number. So I don't necessarily have to make it a fraction. This isn't a fraction either, plus B. So I generally only make them a fraction if the slope is a fraction. If it's not a fraction, I don't need to. If you want to, you can, but you don't need to. So 2 times 2 is 4. 5 equals 4 plus B. Subtract the 4 from both sides. 1 equals B. Now that I know that the B is, I can go ahead and write my answer. Y equals 2x plus 1. There's my answer. Number 4. I want you to go ahead and try number 4. I'm going to write the answer up here so that way you know if you got it right. Y equals 1/4 x minus 3. So try number 4. Give it a shot. See if that's what you get. Plug in the x, y, and m. Solve for b. You should get -3. Then you can write your answer. So y equals mx plus b. -4 comes down.
Oh, I don't know. I was looking at that.
Yeah, I think you looked up too far. This is 1 plus b. X, Y, M. So Y equals M X plus B. There's my set. I will give you that equation for the quiz. Y equals mx plus b. You're going to need that equation. You're also going to need the slope equation. Y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That's probably the only two you're going to need for the quiz. Multiply the top, I get negative 4. Multiply the bottom, I get positive 4. So negative 4 over positive 4 is negative 1. So negative 4 comes down. I got negative 1 plus b. Well, to get rid of a minus 1, you have to add 1, because you always do the opposite. So add 1 to both sides. I got negative 3, and then I was able to write my equation. So like I said, the first 4, I give you a point and a slope. You plug in the point, you plug in the slope, solve for b, rewrite your equation. 5 through 8 take an extra step. Are we ready for 5 through 8? So let's take a look at 5 and 6. Now 5 and 6, I have a point, I have a second point. I don't have a slope. I need a slope. I have to have a slope to do this. So the first equation we're going to need is our slope equation. Remember, slope is m. y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. So that's the first equation I'm going to have to use. Once I've used that one, I can go ahead and use my slope-intercept equation. Y equals mx plus b. So these 4 are going to take both of them. So if you remember back to the first worksheet when we started this section, it was finding slope. And I gave you 2 points. Here's my 2 points. This is the first one. So I can label this one x1, y1. This was the second one. So I can label x2, y2. Like I said, we did that last week. This is the first thing we did last week. Plug it all into my slope equation. So y2, negative 4, minus y1, negative 3, over x2, negative 5, minus 0. So I'm just plugging everything in where it belongs. Now, like I said, the trickiest thing on this is just keeping track of minuses and negatives. So negative 4 minus a negative 3 is going to give you negative 1. Negative 5 minus nothing is negative 5. And same as when we did that first worksheet, if you have a negative top and bottom, go ahead and cancel those negatives out. So I get 1/5. So that's my slope. So that was step 1, find slope. Well, now that I know the slope, I can do what I did on the first 4. The first 4, I had a slope, I had a point. It does not matter which point you pick. They will both give you the same b in the long run. So you can either pick 0, negative 3, or you can pick negative 5, negative 4. They both will work. So which one do you guys want me to do? 0, negative 3, or negative 5, negative 4?
Negative 5, negative 4.
So I'm going to use this one. So this is the one I'm going to plug in. So y was negative 4 equals m, that's what we just found, times x, negative 5, I'm going to make it a fraction, plus b. So pick either point. They're going to get you to the same place in the long run. Negative 5 over positive 5 is negative 1. So negative 4 equals negative 1 plus b. I can add 1 to both sides. I'm going to put it over here. So I get negative 3 equals B. Negative 4 plus 3 was negative 3. Or negative 4 plus 1 is negative 3. Now again, we're not quite done. We still have to write the final equation. So my final equation was y equals 1/5 x minus 3. That's my final answer. So like I said, it's the same thing we did on top. It just takes the extra step. Because I didn't give you a slope, you have to find a slope. And it does not matter which point you pick. Pick one or the other, it's going to get you to the same B. So let's look at number 6. Again, if you need to label these, take the time to label them. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. So Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. Negative 2 on top, negative 8 on bottom. This is all going to reduce down to 1/4. So that's my slope. Everybody still with us? Now I can plug that into y equals mx plus b. So y, which one do you want to use? 4,2 or negative 4,0? So if I'm using 4,2, I'm going to use this one. Y is 2 equals m, I just found, x, 4/1, plus b. You can multiply 1/4 times 4/1. I get 4 on top, 4 on bottom, which is going to divide out to 1. Subtract 1 from both sides. I get 1. So B equals 1. Then, like I said before, your final step is just to write everything again. Y equals 1/4 x plus 1. That's your final equation.
Well,
5 and 6, are we okay? Everybody done writing? 7, 8. I want you guys to try 7 and 8. I'm going to go ahead and put both answers up here so that way you know if you're getting it right. So you end up getting a slope of negative 9 or negative 9/1, same thing. Your final answer ends up giving you y equals negative 9x minus 5. This one you end up getting a slope as negative 1 or negative 1/1, same thing. Y equals negative x or negative 1x minus 1. So try those two. If you don't get those answers, let me know and I will help talk you through whatever went wrong. So try it. So find your slope, make sure you got the right slope, and start plugging everything in. I'll give you a minute or two, and then if we got stuff, we'll talk it through. So 7. Does anybody need any help getting to the negative 9 slope? Are we okay with negative 9 slope? Once you know the slope was negative 9, you could pick either point. Which point, somebody say which point they want me to use.
0 and -12.
So 0, -5. You might have picked the other one and that's okay. But if you picked a 0, -5, you plug it into y, which was -5, equals m, which is -9, times 0, because x was 0, plus b. Well, this is 0. So -5 equals b. So since -5 is b, you can rewrite your equation, y equals -9x minus 5. Number 8, does anybody need help getting the -1 as the slope? Did anybody not get the slope -1? Pick one of these 2 points. I'm going to do this one this time. 1, -2. So y, that was -2, equals m, -1, times x, which is 1, plus b. This is -1. Add 1 to both sides. You end up getting -1 equals b. Then you can go ahead and write this. Multiply straight across. Are we okay, 7A? Go ahead and turn this off.